Hello there. How are you doing? I am so happy to be here with you again tonight. Today, I don't know, it's 5 o'clock, but it is dark out. But guess what? We've passed the 21st of December, and that was the day after that. The days start getting longer, a little bit at a time, and I like that. It was quite warm here in Connecticut today for January 2nd. And so what I did is I went out and went for a little walk around, and it felt so good. But I understand that we've got some real cold weather coming our way, so I got to kind of brace myself for that. So let's enjoy today's visit, and we are in our series now that we've started for this year, and it's called Embracing Change. I know everybody, and I mentioned it yesterday, everybody's a little fed up with the way things are, and the virus and blah, 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 pandemic, blah, blah, lockdown, blah, blah, stay home, blah, blah, mask. Everybody's pretty tired of that. But, um, so if we want to get the change, we're going to have to be a part of the change we want. And I know I talked about it yesterday, but this is a big topic and there's lots to explore. I'm also going to be repeating from time to time because I find that repetition is very powerful in really starting to engage the truth that you're sharing. So, as far as the way that your life is going, our world, our climate, all this stuff, I would like to say, how's that working for you? That was one of Dr. Phil's very common things when people would share about the problems in their life. And he'd say, well, how's that working for you? And basically, it meant, he was saying, you're in this mess. And while you're complaining about it a lot, what are you doing about it? And I think that what happens with us is that we get stuck in a rut of, things will never get better, they're always the same. And there's an AA analogy that says trying to make sense. Oh, no. Trying to make sense of craziness will only make you crazy. And doing the same thing the same way over and over, uh, you'll get the same and expecting a different result. That's insanity. So if you are doing the same thing the same way over and over and you're expecting a different result, guess what? It's a little insanity. But this is a great part because it makes perfect sense. When I'm still working, it's talk about needing to change things. I've really got to work on this computer issue I have that keeps sticking up messages that I need to change something that I can't. I'm going to work on that as soon as I'm done today. Maybe I won't have to deal with it next time. Tomorrow, all depends on what's going on. Okay, let's get back to where we are with how's that working for you. Doing the same thing the same way over and over, expecting a different result, doesn't work. Okay? And as they say, the only thing that never changes is change. Well, doesn't that contradict itself? How can it be the only thing that never changes is change, and that if you don't change something, it's going to stay the same? Well, it's like this. If we keep doing the same thing the same way over and over and expect change, nothing's going to happen except that the circumstances will change. If you can't find a job you're happy with, and so you keep going from job to job to job to job, what is the common denominator? Yeah, you're right. It's always us. It always comes back to us. So whereas you're changing jobs, you're not changing your thoughts, feelings, beliefs. In Unity, there's a song it's called "We Make Our Own World," and the words go something like, "We make our own world wherever we are. Our happiness then is our own making." So if you want to be happy, you can't expect someone else to make you happy. You have to make yourself happy. I'm working with a great book now that I will be sharing with you as we go along called What Are You? And it really causes us to look at who or what we think we are, who or what we really are. And I discovered very far down the road that I kept trying to make myself to be different, to be acceptable, so I wouldn't be rejected by people. And I found out, oh my stars, that was the wrong direction. I mean, I am I am different to a lot of people. Than a lot of people, I don't know. I'm kind of loud and boisterous and creative, and I don't think I have an inside voice, although I'm very frequently told to please use it. I can't use it if I don't know where it is. Um, but the thing is, I have many very good attributes. I'm a nice person. I'm smart. I'm creative. Why is it sometimes I can be so dumb? Did you ever ask yourself that? How can I be this smart and get into so much trouble? I think a big part of that reason is you're trying to make yourself into someone else's image and likeness of what you think you should be, instead of enjoying the image and likeness of who you were created to be. If you want to see big change in your life, I suggest you uh, think about being more of you and not being trying to be someone else. Because you know what? Everybody else is taken. And so if you're not being the real you, it's like having a gift inside of you that you cannot give because you think it should be different. You might have one idea of success in your heart and another idea, in your head where you're trying to make yourself acceptable and successful by whose definition. That's the tricky part. So if your life's not working for you, or if you think the government, politics, your job, your boss, your finances, your children, your parents, any of that, we have to look at anything that is not working for us and start to find a way to bring forth the change that we want. And that change really, really starts inside. Most of us know the peace song. And at the end of the peace song, it says, "Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me." What if we changed that word, peace? What if we said, "Let there be love on earth, and let it begin with me"? Let there be happiness on earth, and let it begin with me. How about let there be prosperity on earth, and let it begin with me? Because everything does ultimately begin within ourselves. Now, we got a little caveat here. Because we are individuals, we say that in unity we say that we have within us a spark of divinity that everybody has. Everybody. That spark of divinity is the spiritual truth within them, that we are spiritual beings having a human experience. Well, if that experience isn't what we want it to be, we want to lift it up to a spiritual level so we're not having, making so many mistakes. And I just went off track. I got to figure out my way. Hang on. I have to get back because we're talking about how's that working for you. Sometimes, the spirit just takes me on a little side trip, and then I've got to bring myself back to what we're talking about because I am committed to sticking on the topic, which is how's that working for you. If it's not working, something needs to change. The something that needs to change, oh, see, the train just came back to the track. What has to change is the fact that we are one, we are an individual expression of God, we are totally unique, and at the same time, we are an inseparable part of a greater whole. So, because we are a part of the greater whole, and we want change, it begins, let there be blank on earth, and let it begin with me, and it begins with us, and then we take that out into the world. And that's one of the places we drop things, is that and that's exactly what we're dealing with right now in our world, is the failure to acknowledge our oneness, that we need each other and that we help each other. And it's like you have all kinds of organs and tissues and veins and guts and stuff like that in this one body. So each person is like a cell in the body. They have their own life, and yet the good of the health and the life of the whole body depends on every one of them working in concert to keep the body healthy. So if our life's not working, we need to change. If the world around us is working, we need to change. It comes out the same way, on a different level. Although all the different cells of our body and organs and parts and bones and all that stuff, they each are individual, they each work together. So see, that's that part. If the heart just decided to think about the heart, or the liver just started to think about the liver, and did not think about the whole body, the big picture, the body would be in great trouble, because they would stop functioning as they should as a part of the whole body. So if the whole body is not functioning, what do we have? We have dis-ease. Have you lost your sense of ease and peace at any time recently? Have you listened to the news or to people talking on the street, or within your own household had a discussion or an argument? We're a part of a whole. Excuse me, I thought having my water handy would prevent that. Okay, so we are a part of a greater whole, and we must learn, first of all, to keep ourselves whole and healthy, body, mind, spirit, soul, and to contribute to the good of the whole, the good of the world. How's that working for you? Who did that song, What Have You Done For Me Lately? Well, what have we done for each other lately? And what level have we done it on? You're going to hear a lot in my videos about lower and higher consciousness, about the 4 quadrants of consciousness. The lower, which are human thought and human emotion, and the higher, which are intuitive sensing. See, Emotion is something that goes through our body. It's generated generally by a thought. Every time we have an emotional reaction, we may not realize it, but it goes back to a thought we had. Sometimes that thought can be, for example, if you are driving down the street, you got the radio on, all of a sudden you hear our song from a previous relationship, a relationship that didn't end very well. So you may, without consciously, you may just start feeling icky inside and you don't know why. But if you think on it for a couple of minutes, you're going to realize the song triggered an emotion. So the thought triggered an emotion. Now, on a higher level, that's in lower consciousness, okay? In the upper realm of intuitive sensing, that is like when we just we intuitively pull in energy, spiritual thought, ideas, as opposed to things about our own human life, and then we sense what needs to be done about it. And again, it may not even be on a conscious level. So if we say that if we say that we have to get along better together, intuitively, where did that come from? We have to get along better together. It came from the internal, the spiritual. In Unity, we say that God is omnipotent, omnipresent, and omniscient. Omniscient means all-knowing. So there is that part of us, that spiritual part of us that knows that you don't know why or how you know it, but you know it. And we know that harmony is the right thing. So we know and we desire harmony. But if we start looking down into the depths of all the anger and disrespect and things that we're experiencing now, we're not going to heal it. In order to heal it, we have to deal with cause. Now, there's a lot of things that you're going to, if you're on Facebook, I'm on Facebook, or I'm not on, I don't know, what is that, Instagram or Snapchat or any of those other things. You probably know there are lots of little memes or articles that go around, and they're talking about what the world needs to change. And they'll say things like, how do we get in this mess? Well, let me tell you something. It's technology. Technology has drawn us apart. Or it's kids. Kids have no respect. Kids are not being brought up properly today. Kids need some discipline. Or people stop going to church. If people only went to church, things would change. It's the breakdown of the family. You know, the families used to be together all the time. They had respect, you know. So it's the breakdown of the family. Some people would say it's drugs and alcohol. That's the problem. If we could deal with drugs and alcohol, everything would be okay. Other people would say it's pot. It's the legalization of marijuana. Is it, you know? And I want to tell you something. On one level, they're right, because these certain things do cause pain and suffering in our world and in our individual lives. But it has to be addressed. It's not about, people have to first of all understand what it is. You know that thing about doing the same thing the same way over and over and expecting a different result? Well, we've been doing that for ages. We have to get to the cause. And we tend to oversimplify things because we figure, well, if you'd only do that, if you only do that, things would be different. Um, let's look at the thing as a minister. I am a very strong proponent of church, of going to church, of going and connecting with like-minded individuals, kindred spirits, that we can work together, because that's the next step. We have, let peace begin with me, and then let me bring it to a larger group, and then a larger group, and then a larger group. We're part of a greater whole. So, oh, I went off my track again. Okay, so the thing with going to church, not going to church, I read a story that just broke my heart the other day. A 200-year-old church was closing because of lack of attendance. So we say, why did all those people leave church? Was it not a good church? Oh, and there's people that are anti-religion and they'll say nobody should be in a church. You don't need a church. Church is what some people back in the day, back in the 60s, 80s, they would say that church was the opiate of the masses. That church gave people a phony idea. Well, if a church is not helping and inspiring us, then maybe they need to change. Now, that does not mean the core teaching and principles that that church is based on, but the way it is delivered. The only thing that never changes is change. But we don't want to change. But guess what? We can't go back. Now, they say you cannot step in the same river twice. You can't, because you step in it, you bring your foot out, the whole river is moved, and you step into it, and it's moved again. We want to move forward, and we want to create positive change, and we won't be able to go back to exactly the way it was. But the good news is, through experience, through getting to the why of how it got to be the way it is, then we can make the corrections that cause the problem so that we can move forward taking the best. One of the things I've been praying that people have gotten from the experience of the pandemic is what really matters and who really matters. And I'll tell you, we're going through a really, really rough patch now as people are inclined in our growing process to be disrespectful and not always supporting each other, me, my, mine, when it should be we, us, ours. And so we're having the same problems. And here's another thing. In Unity, we call it the cosmic 2x4. So like if you're going off track, you get the cosmic 2x4, doom, to the back of the head. And if you don't get it, you get the 4x8. You see what I'm saying? The issues will get larger and larger and larger until we successfully address them. So we may be trying to successfully address them, but if it's not successful, you don't do the same thing the same way. You look to find a new way. And the new way is the old way. It is the oldest way on record. And that is the basic principle of cause and effect. Whatever we send forth comes back multiplied, whether that is for good or not. If you don't believe me, go up to someone you're talking to, and if you're having a negative discussion, push them. You know what they're going to do? They're going to push you back. And then when you do, you push them back harder. Something has to stop that process because that doesn't work. And you would be surprised how many times, because we get our human thinking and human emotions involved, we stay stuck there and we can't lift it up. We can't, as we say, come into the light. One of the things we can learn to do is to improve our communication. I'm not perfect at it, but I'm working at it regularly. I had that experience when I went to visit my daughter for Christmas, and we were driving down the street, and she said, "Oh, I want to take you to. How about if we go to the Pirates?" I thought she said Pirates Cove, but it's called the Pirates O. I have no idea why. And she said, "Oh, let's go to the candy store." And I'm like, "No, we don't have any need to go to a candy store." And she got mad. She said, "You know what?" She said, "There you go again. I'm just trying to think of something that we can do and enjoy." Now, my thought was, first of all, my image of what this candy store looked like was a little hole in the wall, with a bunch of crappy, what's that word, like gimmicky candies and stuff like that. So she offered to share something with me that she thought I would like. I had the wrong image of what that was like. And so I was like, no. And then she got angry. And I'm very happy she got angry, because through that, the two of us were able to lift our communication up. And so I just trying to do something, it's getting late, there's nothing to do. I just thought maybe you'd like it. It's got a lot of cute stuff in it, and it's got blah, blah, blah. And wait a minute. That's not the image I had of this place. I said, I'm sorry. It's that big one. Big one. You want to find a way to have peace? Say, I'm sorry. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let it start with those words. I'm sorry. 3 words? I was wrong. Ooh. Okay. So once I got what she wanted to do, instead of just go buy some candy, she wanted to show me this great little quaint place that has all kinds of stuff, and cheese, I might say, and mega pastas. Oh, my stars. So we went and enjoyed the store. Now, first she said, "Never mind, I don't want to go." And I said, "Mimi, I apologize. I did not understand. I want to see it." Well, of course we went. And it wasn't about this little episode about the store. What it was that I got so clearly in that moment that what I said, thinking it was nothing, to someone else was huge. It was rejection. It was, I hope you hear me, because that for me was a life-changing moment, because it was a consciousness-changing moment. And it couldn't have been had if both my daughter and I were not honest and allowed the love that we have for each other to reach beyond the misunderstanding. I gotta tell on myself to help someone else not hit the road bump I hit. I am joyful to do it. I will they say, make yourself a fool for Christ. Well, I did. And that's about it for today. And I hope you enjoyed our visit. I'm going to upload to YouTube. So if you want to make sure you don't miss one of my videos, go onto YouTube and click the subscribe button. And that way, whenever I do a video, it will let you know. And I hope that You have a wonderful rest of your day today, and God bless you good. Till the next time. Bye bye.